What's good, Raider Nation? This is your man, Wasted Talent, and I'm coming back to you with another short video. Today, we are going to get into a free agent defensive piece that we can add. A lot of people have been calling for him. I think that, this particular player is the most realistic and most important free agent pick that we can bring in this offseason. Now, much has been made about Chris Jones. I've done videos about Chris Jones. Chris Jones is one of the best players in the National Football League. But if I'm being honest, the Kansas City Chiefs are most likely going to franchise him and work a long-term deal out with him. He is the second most important player on their team. Brandon Matabuke, also with the Baltimore Ravens, is a young, budding superstar. There is no way in hell that the Ravens are going to allow that man to get out the building. But the fact remains, the Raiders still need help in the middle of the defense. Now, if I'm being honest, the Raiders, defensive line room is filled and riddled with young players. We got some production from two guys we didn't expect to get production from, and John Jenkins and Adam Butler. But the thing that's going to take this defense to the next level is the signing of this particular gentleman, and his name is Leonard Williams, everybody. Now, listen, guys. Leonard Williams is currently on the Seattle Seahawks, right? And I'm going to tell you why Leonard Williams is more of a viable option than almost anybody out there. Now, Leonard Williams is a guy who was traded for by the Seahawks for a second and a fifth round pick. He played 10 games with the Seahawks. He had 41 tackles. He had 9 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits, and 4 sacks. He did phenomenal in his time with the Seahawks last year. Now, some will say that his performance might warrant him getting the franchise tag. But let me tell you why that is not a realistic idea. Now, if we go into this, when Leonard Williams was on the New York Giants, he was franchised by Dave Gettleman 2 times, which means that for a third time for him to be franchised, they would have to pay him 144% of his top salary of his last contract, which means that Leonard Williams would have to be paid by the Seattle Seahawks in excess of $36 million for that franchise tag, which is just, insane. The Seahawks are not going to pay him that much. Leonard Williams is not going to go to the Seahawks for a deal that is less than, other guys. I mean, he was pretty much their best defender last year. And, if you look at it, the Seahawks are projected to be about $4 million over the cap, and they're already paying big money to Uchenna Nwosu and Draymond Jones, who Williams actually outproduced last year. Now, Draymond Jones is making an excess of about $17.2 million, and I can't see Leonard Williams taking less than him because he's actually a better player, right? And also, the Seahawks have a massive, massive cap issue that they have to get under control. So I don't see Leonard Williams coming back. They already have a young player at their position that they drafted high, that they're trying to develop, and I don't see Leonard Williams coming back. So in excess, that makes me believe that the Raiders need to be all in on Leonard Williams. Now, Leonard Williams is a guy that in 2015, before the draft, preached his love and admiration for the Raiders team. It was his team growing up. He's originally from California, and he grew up in Florida, but he's always had admiration for the Raiders. He played at USC. It seems to be a perfect fit and a perfect marriage. He said in 2015 that he's shooting to be the top pick in the draft, but if he was being honest, he would love to be taken by the Raiders, and the Raiders, in their infinite wisdom, decided to draft Amari Cooper to give Derek Carr that number 1 receiving threat to develop Derek Carr, and I understand that. But I really wish that they would have leaned into the defense and helped out their best player, Khalil Mack, and brought in a Leonard Williams. Now, Leonard Williams is a guy that if we bring him in, he'd be a lot less money than the other people that we've named. He's an established baller of a player. And he's a guy who also had some of his best years in New York under Patrick Graham, which got him paid. Now, Patrick Graham has played with the land of misfit toys and has made, you know, a masterpiece out of a lot of players that people probably wouldn't categorize as superstar players. I think it's about time us having a defensive head coach and having a mastermind as a defensive coordinator and having our best player on the defensive side of the football that we lean into that and in free agency go big on a player like a Leonard Williams. Now, there are other players that you can add in the draft, but we already have a lot of developmental players at Leonard Williams' position. Leonard Williams is a guy who can play on the outside, play on the inside. He's versatile. He would fit right in with Max Crosby. He'll fit right in with Malcolm Kuntz. He'll fit right in with the development of Tyree Wilson. And also, we have so many other young players at that position. You know, the Matthew Butlers of the world. You know, a lot of these young players, man, the Byron Youngs of the world. So, listen. The way I'm seeing it, with the salary cap going up, the Raiders having more resources, they need to pour into those resources and bring in a Leonard Williams. Now, guys, I'm going to say this before I go. Understand something. If you're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's what this is all about, winning your division, beating the Chiefs, you have to play into the strengths of your team, and you have to play into stopping the Chiefs. The chances of the Raiders going out there and drafting a player that is as good or better than Patrick Mahomes is almost slim and none. Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. That word gets thrown around a lot from a lot of these players that are coming out in the draft. But let me tell you something. Patrick Mahomes is on a trajectory that we haven't seen since no one, to be real with you. I mean, the first few years of his career, he's been pretty successful. And you know, there's a very short list of players that you can mention in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes. And it makes me want to throw up in my mouth even saying that, because I hate Patrick Mahomes. And I think the best way to beat him is, like Antonio Pierce said, the Mahomes rules. Beat his ass up, slam him on his back like the jabroni he is, and stop that Chiefs offense. Guys, listen, if you like what you hear, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We on the race to 15K. Raider Nation Unlimited. Wasted Talent Raiders. I am out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. We should be coming at you with some live content, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. But, yo, the content doesn't stop just because it's the off season. You guys have a terrific and wonderful day. Peace.